You know, some people age like a fine wine, and some people age like a can of special brew left on a hot windowsill. Whichever one you are, get ready to talk about those pesky little emotions of yours, because it's time for another episode of I've Had a Rosé, Let's Talk About Feelings. Please welcome your host, Sam Lake. It was me the whole time. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of I've Had a Rosé, Let's Talk About Feelings. I've got a cushion in front of my belly because I'm sweating through my top. This is the show where me and a wonderful guest enjoy a beverage of their choice and talk about something they're passionate about and see how it all connects to their feelings. Before I introduce today's amazing guest, let me take a moment to thank our lovely Rosé Sluts. That is, of course, the official title of our supporters on Patreon. If you would like to become an official Rosé Slut as well, you can sign up at the link below. You can join for as little as £3 a month, and you get access to all kinds of bonus content, including After Hours, our bonus episode series, and some other fun bits on there as well. Doesn't that sound like a good deal? I would sign up if it wasn't literally my show. Let's introduce today's guest. It is TapeFace, also known as Sam Wills. Hello.
Hello, how are you?
I am good. How are you doing? We were just talking before record. We're both rather warm.
Yes, we are a bit warm. My air conditioning in my house has decided to break, and here in Las Vegas, it's just a comfortable 41 degrees.
A reasonable 40. Is it actually safe to go outside?
It's okay to go outside. You don't want to be out there for too long. It's not the type of thing where you
Right.
go, oh, I'm going to go for a run. No, it's not ideal.
No, oh, that's so funny because in the last episode we were just talking a lot about marathons. So don't worry, there'll be no running happening whatsoever.
No running, good.
No. So you're joining us from Las Vegas. I think
Yes.
you might now hold the title of podcast guest who has joined us remotely from the greatest distance. So congratulations.
All right.
How long have you been living in Las Vegas for?
I've been here for about 8 years now.
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
Wow. It's
And
a pretty weird city to live in.
I was going to say, like, is that not quite an adjustment to get used to living in Las Vegas? Because I think people must think of it as just like, you know, like a entertainment capital and that's all there is. Can you have like some normalcy as well?
There is normality out in the suburbs, which is where I'm at, which is quite nice. It takes me about 15 minutes to get into work, which is cool to do shows. But then the drive home is you can have a little decompress and get back to normality. And like I've got a couple of cats and just normal household life and whatnot, so it works out pretty well.
Stunning, lovely. What else is there to see in Las Vegas apart from like the obvious stuff?
Oh, there's all sorts of weird little fun things. Like there's all the touristy whatnot, but then if you get away from the touristy stuff, you got like there's theme parks, there's water parks, there's the Pinball Hall of Fame. There's down Fremont Street, which is more of old Vegas, which is kind of cool. I'm a big fan of like things like the Mob Museum. There's some fun little places out there which aren't normally when you think of Vegas, you always think of Cirque du Soleil shows, Penn and Teller, and that sort of thing. But there's other things to find, which is quite fun.
I also get a lot of videos on TikTok showing me like abandoned hotels as well, and sometimes people go along and have like a walk through an abandoned hotel just to see what it used to be like.
Yeah, the old rundown hotels, and even some of the more modern ones that are still a bit abandoned, where they're offering a room for $9.
Oh yes, no, they offer them like really cheap, and like the only thing that still works in there is like a vending machine of cake or something.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah.
Yes, that sounds about right. Yes. And you've been in there for 8 years. Thank you for joining us from such a great distance. I feel like we should, given your air conditioner is broken, we should maybe get to the drink as soon as possible so that we can have some refreshment.
I have a selection of liquids in front of me. Don't worry, I'm all good.
Oh, good. And hopefully like a mister as well, like you're in a biome or a greenhouse or something. So your drink, now, correct me if I'm wrong, it was the original drink that you wanted, which I hope you've got or you have had and can talk me through, is it called V?
It's called the energy drink.
The energy drink. Now, we tried to find this here, and it is... I could be wrong, but when I Googled it, Google said this was the nearest thing. This is a Tenzing natural energy, but it says natural.
See, I'm worried about the word natural because this one is everything but natural.
Well, see, it says natural, and then it says the main ingredient is caffeine. So I don't know what their definition of natural is. It is a certified B Corp. So there you go. There's something.
Yeah.
Talk to me about V energy drink. The can is quite striking.
It's a very bright green neon can with a little cartoon kind of V on it. It describes
Mm.
itself as it says Discover V Energy and its delicious formula with its unique taste. Guarana, taurine, and vitamins and V Energy. The energy good vibes.
Well, that sounds like a delicious formula.
I'm assuming that the V must stand for vibes energy, or that would be my thought.
Oh, yeah, I guess so. I mean,
Yeah.
it did. I don't know if you've seen a video of a woman talking about how the Monster Energy can is linked to the devil.
Yes, I love that video.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm a big
And she
fan
has
of.
so many links to it.
I love all energy drinks in general, but yeah, Monster's a big fan. I'm a big fan of that as well. I tend to drink about a can of that a day.
Fair enough. Now, is that your main source of energy? Are you doing teas and coffees or anything like that?
I do coffee as well. I do caffeine. I do quite a lot of caffeine in my life. Yeah.
Yeah. How many milligrams do you think we're doing a day?
I'm not sure because I also with these giant iced coffees that I do, and then occasionally I
Oh,
do the snus, the tobacco pouches that you get that you put under your lip.
oh, I have friends of yes, yeah, yeah, yes.
You can get pure caffeine ones of those.
What? And so you just put those like underneath your lip, and then it's like a slow release, is it?
Slow release caffeine into your system. Yeah. So I
Wow.
do those occasionally as well.
Just walk around with an IV or something.
Yeah, it's pretty. I'm pretty jacked up, ready to go.
Well, it's good that you're managing to stay in one place and not sort of like bouncing off the ceiling.
Yeah, that is my brain is very much all over the place.
And when it comes to like energy drinks, then do you? So V's the favorite, but do you just sort of, if you really need an energy drink, are you just taking whatever's available, or are you
I'll grab
particular?
anything that's got caffeine in it, and what's it? Is it taurine or taurine or taurine?
Taurine, yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, that's the kind of go-to. But if I'm in New Zealand, these V energy drinks come in really big monster cans. They're really big size ones.
yeah.
So I do about 4 of those a day.
Now, I don't know if you can hear that, but everyone in the studio just went oh at the sound of 4 cans a day.
Yeah, it's quite a lot.
It is quite a lot, but I guess like your lifestyle, I guess you must just need a lot of energy to fend off the sun of Las Vegas as well.
There's a bit of that. It's also if I'm doing shows, I tend not to really eat when I'm on tour, so I tend to just live off energy
Mm,
drinks and that sort of thing anyway, just to help me get through the general day-to-day life.
right. Do you ever find that if you, what would happen if you went like a little bit of time without an energy drink? And when I say a little bit of time, I mean like a morning.
I'll be all right. I'm totally fine with it. This is the thing. I can really cut off things pretty quickly in my head, so I can just go. If I was to take a week break from these energy drinks and coffee, that's no
Yeah.
problems at all. Yeah, I
Okay.
don't even.
Well, that's
There's
quite
no
good then.
withdrawals. There's no shakes or anything like that, which is good.
That's interesting because I have like maybe 2 cups of coffee a day. That's my thing. And if there a day goes by where I don't have that, I do feel like I get some kind of like headache or something, or like something isn't right. And then when I have a cup of coffee again, I'm like, I just needed caffeine. That's all I needed.
Yeah, it's the caffeine that levels me out, I find.
Interesting. Okay. Now, what does a can of V taste like? Is this like an original flavor? Does it come in multiple
It
flavors?
is no. There's different flavors now, but this was the green one was always the original single flavor.
Hmm.
It's a kind of a citrusy lime, but just a sharp taste of chemical, really.
Oh, I love a chemically taste. Anything that tastes like the cupboard under the sink. I love it.
Yeah, it's got a
Yeah.
cleaning. You could clean a toilet with this. Absolutely,
Yes, and I might. I really might.
right.
So it's just like that chemically taste. What color is the liquid?
It's like a deep yellow brown, the
Okay.
equivalent of your urine should you drink nothing but this.
Um oh, I can't remember the last time I did a Dulux color chart on my own urine, but now that's all I'll be thinking about for the rest of the episode. Okay.
This.
Well, I'm going to compare what this Tenzing is thing, and I'm going to tell you now, I think you'd be disappointed in the color. It's quite a clear
Oh
sort of
no.
like, I want to say, have you ever had like an elderflower press or like a, it's sort of like a, oh wait, no, do you know what? It's like a non-alcoholic white wine kind of color.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And taste-wise, mm,
Here we go.
oh, that just tastes like mint. It doesn't really taste of anything chemically. It just
You've got
tastes
like a
of.
G&T going on.
Actually, yeah, G&T is pretty much the right vibe. It feels like I'm having like just the tonic almost, but with a hint of mint in there as well. I can't lie. I feel like I've been lied to, and I am slightly disappointed. I mean, it's not bad, but like I was expecting something in like the Red Bull family or something like that. Like you said, like battery
Yeah, that,
acid.
that that same color battery acid. Yeah, that's a good shout.
Yeah. And so when you get a sip of, in your case, V, how does it make you feel? Is it an immediate buzz? Does it take you to a
Oh,
place?
it's
Is it
instant. Yeah,
instant?
absolutely. Instant gratification. Because my brain is so wired to this flavor, even the smell of it, I can also get triggered to feel instantly better.
That's really good. How long have you been drinking V for? Is it go back to childhood or is it a more recent thing?
Probably teenagery to early 20s. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's that, 20 years?
Well, I guess you tell me, I guess.
Yes, about 20 years I've been to drinking it. The tricky thing is that it's hard to find. Like, it's in New Zealand everywhere. I found
Mm.
it in the UK at a convenience store once and just stripped that shop of it all.
There's no
Um,
stock left. Yeah.
yeah, there's no stock supplied. But no, it's pretty hard to find. I've been looking for it online. I've been looking for it on Amazon and that sort of thing, but it's very
Mm.
tricky to find. They always offer substitutes and that sort of thing.
Well, you have to be careful when you buy it off Amazon because sometimes what they do is you can buy a particular product from Amazon, but then if it's like a regional thing, like you can only get it in certain parts of the world, they
Mm.
sometimes send you like whatever the local equivalent of your thing might be or whatever was the easiest thing to get to you.
Ah.
So you could order it and still get something completely different.
So I used to order Monster Import, which was the slightly more syrupy, less
Oh,
carbonated version of Monster,
yeah. Could you
and they
do
would
that?
come in
Could
very
you?
large cans.
Yes. Could you get V as the syrup and then like get one of those like soda stream things or
I would
something?
not be alive if that was the case.
Because you would just have the syrup raw.
I'd be trying the syrup straight up, yeah.
Just
Because you can
yes.
get that with Red Bull. You can buy the little wee syrup, just pure
Yes, you
flavors.
can. I've
Yeah.
actually I for a friend's birthday, I baked them a cake and they wanted a Red Bull cake. And you can actually make syrup out of Red Bull and then put that in the sponge.
Fantastic.
I wasn't getting emotional thinking about that. I just had to burp and I didn't know how to do it gracefully. But I will say, four of any energy drink in a day is a lot. Was that a gradual progression to be able to have the
Yeah,
four
it's
a
it's
day?
it's definitely grown up. Like occasionally it would be like one can here, two cans here. But if I notice when I'm definitely performing on tour, I tend to have like two cans right before I go on stage, or
Sure.
I'll have a can during the day while we're doing the setup, and then a can with dinner, as that sort of thing.
Right. Okay, so it's like a good accompaniment to a meal as well.
I drink it with everything. I'm just looking for an excuse.
Would you give it to a pet or a child?
I probably wouldn't go that far.
Okay.
I'd
All
probably
right, there are
give
limits.
it more of a warning.
Okay, fair enough. Lovely. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, I will try and get through the rest of the episode on my Tenzing, wishing it was something else. But it's not an awful drink, but it is underwhelming. But I do have plenty of energy to talk to you about your chosen topic, which is it's quite a not abstract necessarily, but quite a broad topic. It's the concept of play and imagination.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, why was that what you wanted to talk
Well,
about today?
when I was asked, what is something that I'm passionate about, it was a really hard pick because I started thinking of things like video games I quite enjoy, but I'm
Hmm.
not really passionate about. And then it was a depressing situation where I realized I don't really care about anything. Um, so it was that thing of going, well, what do I care about? And then I started realizing that I care about playing and I care about imagination. I care about that sort of thing. I care about the
Yeah,
the ongoing quest to maintain childhood. It's that sort of thing is what I
I
care about.
see. Okay, because my first question was going to be like, how are you defining play? Because I hear a lot as like a comedian or anyone who does like a creative pursuit. One of the things they always say is like, make sure you make time for play. And I
Yeah.
think that's an effort to keep everything fun. So, like, what is play to you?
Fun, like you say, there has to be fun, or there's no point. In my opinion, I apply that
Hmm.
to everything. Everything has to be fun, otherwise,
Right.
there's no point doing it.
Hmm.
But when it comes to play, it's just a case of it can be anything from playing with a pencil to playing with Like I play with props all the time, so I'm always using
Sure.
my imagination to play games and silly things and whatnot. And then when it comes to silly things, like even being in a car, like I'll have games that I'm playing with myself in my head about when we're driving along the road or seeing trees. I
Mm.
decide that the trees can walk and trees are racing us and that sort of thing.
Oh, okay.
It's
What,
pretty
as you're
weird
driving? No,
as we're driving along.
I would do similar things in a car. I would do that with street lamps, and I would sort of like
Oh, yes.
what a game that I had was when the windshield wipers are going, if it's raining and you're driving down a road and that's got lots of street lamps across it, I try and like count every time that the windshield wiper comes down at the exact time the car passes the street lamp.
How satisfying is that?
It's very satisfying. And you sort of don't mind when it misses slightly because you're like, no, because I'm in the timing now. I know it will get one of the ones further down. So that's that, and that's just, hey, I'm not going to get a degree or anything in that. That is just a little bit of fun.
But that must stimulate a part of your brain to give you a small bit of happiness. That's
I
what I
guess
believe in. Yeah.
it must create dopamine somewhere.
Yeah. I used to
Yeah.
play a game where anytime there was any sort of bird poo on the windscreen, I would turn that into a UFO and I would then fly that through the sky.
I mean, wait, okay. Yeah, playing with feces of any animal can be fun.
It's the main ingredients in V energy drink.
um so okay, so that's because I do feel like as you grow up, it's interesting you said video games because
Hmm.
I'm really into video games. I love video games, but I found as I got older, because video games are purely for fun, like it's not a job, it's just something I enjoy to do. I will often tell myself I can't play a video game because there's other stuff that I could be doing that is productive.
Yes.
And
Do
so
you
that
get do you get satisfaction in buying the game, or do you get satisfaction from playing the game?
well, okay. I do get a lot of satisfaction from buying the game, but then what happens a lot is I will wait a really long time before actually playing it.
I
Sometimes it's
100%
just
relate to
enough
that.
to own it. And I feel, but that's so common for people who are into video games as they get older. They build up such a big library of video games and then go, isn't that lovely? And then they never touch it.
Yeah.
And then I'm sort of having to make a conscious effort to go at the end of the day. I have to like start making a list of all of the things that I did get done so that my brain can go, you already were productive today in some fashion. You have earned a little play of something.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
So I
That's
do.
very relatable.
So is that like why it's? I imagine it's also important to you because of the nature of what you do with your shows. But is that why play is something that you're thinking about a lot?
Yeah, I think so. It's just it's always on my mind because I also use play as a distraction to actually doing work. So when
Yes.
I find my work in my play, therefore I have to avoid doing work to if that makes sense.
And does that line not get blurry sometimes? Like what is
Oh,
work? What
very.
is play? Yeah.
I can work for weeks.
So do you do you feel like the more you think about it, if you found a way to distinguish between the two, or find a way to turn play into work in a way that doesn't sort of hurt the play, if that makes sense?
I find the weird thing that I find is music. Is that if I add music to my play, then it becomes a different game.
Really?
Yes,
Okay.
if I'm playing just with props and being silly, then I'm just killing time. Whereas if I put
Right.
music to it and set themes to it and put rhythms in there, then the play gets a way more productive.
That's so interesting. And is it different? Do you choose like different types of music based on the thing that you've started playing?
I tend to use music which is very Tim Burton esque or anything that's got that vibe of that Tim Burton vibe which suits the TapeFace character. So then
Yeah.
I start trying to think a bit more like how would TapeFace see this, or how would TapeFace play this game, or what would TapeFace do in this situation.
Right. Okay. That's really interesting because I guess like when you add music, then it sort of becomes like you're creating like a little world with it all,
Yes,
where
yeah,
it's all
building little
connected.
routines and little moments.
Yeah. So how let so that's play. but then there's also imagination. And how do you see the difference between those two things?
If anything, play is more physical. I find that my
Mm,
interpretation of it is play is when you are tactile and very much physically playing with props and doing things
yeah.
and interacting and messing with others. Whereas
Hmm.
imagination can just be sitting there and daydreaming and creating ideas and dreaming up situations.
Right.
But
And so,
one of my weirdest routines was I do a routine where I get a guy dressed up as a stripper and he has to take off his clothes. But that came about because I was one day sitting in a cafe and I saw a builder walk around the corner. And as he was walking up the road, I was listening to the full Monty soundtrack. And it just so happened that the "You Can Leave Your Hat On" came on as he came
yeah.
around the corner. I started laughing because I thought it was the funniest thing I'd ever seen.
Yeah.
And just all I wanted was to see him do was take off his clothing. And then that developed into the routine from there. So that's more of an imagination creativity moment rather than
And
a
that
play moment.
and that's interesting because it almost sounded there like the imagination was not what's the word? It was like unintentional. You didn't say
Mm,
to yourself, I have to imagine something funny involving it was
no.
like just the perfect mesh of all of these things happening at the same time that led you
Yes.
to then have the imaginative thought.
But I believe those moments happen more often than we think.
Right. And
The
I guess that's why like comedians always have like a notebook or something to
yes.
keep notes down when they have like a funny idea or they see something. Yeah, I
Yeah.
do get
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
So when you started performing, was play and imagination already something that you were thinking about, or did it become more a part of your life because of what you decided to do?
I think it's always been there because I've never had a real job. I've always had, I like from the age of 12, I've been performing. So I
Mm,
was there an apprentice to a clown at the age of 12. So
yeah.
he taught me a whole bunch of clown routines and how to juggle and how to ride a unicycle and that sort of thing.
Oh,
So it was
right.
always
Okay.
very, very playful in that sense straight away. And then as
Yeah.
I grew up, the play became different games of learning freak show, circus, sideshow stunts, and then the game was how to freak out people without being too disgusting and that sort of thing.
Right.
And then so the games have always been there, the play's always been there. I don't think I've
Mm.
ever taken things too seriously. So
I was I
it's
was
hard
gonna
now.
say, yeah, it sounds like you've because it's always been a part of your life. Have you ever known how it feels to? I don't know why this is an example. Could you imagine how it feels to just be an accountant or something?
I have thought about that. I was thinking about that actually yesterday in the sense that
Mm,
I haven't grown up properly. So I'm in a situation now where I'm 46 and I'm not sure how to be an adult.
right. But I guess there are adults who are probably thinking, I don't know how to be. I don't think I was ever a proper child.
Yeah, I'm sure people have lost their childhood to being,
Mm.
they grew up with an abacus, therefore they're the accountant.
I grew up with a fully paid copy of Microsoft Excel.
I know people who probably did.
I genuinely love a spreadsheet, and I would make
Oh,
hobbyist
God.
spreadsheets when I was a kid.
I feel like the spreadsheet is the nemesis of my life.
I love a spreadsheet, but I'll tell you what I did with them because it goes back to video games as well. If you got like a fighting game like Tekken or Soul
Yeah.
Calibur or Mortal Kombat, you could make this is so sad. You could make the CPU play against another CPU and you just watch the match. So I would
Oh,
set up tournaments in a spreadsheet with like a proper bracket and everything or like little
fight
leagues
him
and
out.
stuff, and then I just let the game play itself, and then I just sort of be like the chairman of the tournament that nobody was participating in.
You could stream that on Twitch and make a fortune.
I think I could. I think there
I would
would be
love.
people who'd be
I would
interested in
happily
that.
sit down and watch a Mortal Kombat tournament. That'd be fantastic.
I know a bit like and like I one of the things that I like the least about watching people play video games because I feel like a huge part of it is like you have to like the person who's playing. A lot of like esports players are very like sort of like they can be like quite angry and moody people, and so you don't want to necessarily you're not always rooting for them, so
Mm.
take all of the humanness out of it and just have the computer play against itself, and then the fun I guess becomes like guessing which one is going to win, but you're just talking with everybody else who has no skin in the game, so it's not as serious, I suppose.
Yeah, yeah. Take away the reality of it, I suppose. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and take it, yeah, and like have nobody even like touch the controller as the developers of the game intended. Um, can I ask then? So when you sort of already touched on this, but in regards to bringing play and imagination into your work, you already said about how you're playing around with props, and then sometimes you add music. But
Mhm.
a question that any type of artist tends to get asked is like, what is your process? So like, how does play and imagination factor into your process? Like, if somebody said to you, hey, you have to have a new show ready in 6 months. Like,
Oh God.
how do you manage that?
I'm not sure. This is the frustrating thing that I find with my material and my process is that I don't remember it. So
Oh,
I have
okay.
I have moments where I remember, like for example, the stripper routine. I remember that very clearly because that was a little
Mm,
funny moment. Whereas other routines are things that almost come fully formed, and then it's that thing of going, where was the spark for that idea? What was the actual
yeah,
moment that triggers the game? And a lot of them are games that I am thinking of. It's simple games for an audience member to play. So where they
right.
come up on stage, they do a simple thing, they succeed. I recently developed a bullet catch routine using a Nerf gun that launches a tennis ball. And so the idea was that I wanted to do the world famous bullet catch, but my interpretation of it. And so it just goes wrong over and over and over up until the
Uh,
point that somebody's on stage shooting a bullet thingy into my hand so I can catch it straight away.
yes.
So it's like taking old ideas and putting my little twist on them is sort of part
Mm.
of the game as well.
That's so interesting though about not remembering where something came from, but obviously you know something had to have happened because you have the thing that you
Yes.
created. That's very
Yeah, it's
interesting.
frustrating if anything I find because it's that thing of going. I just want to find the formula to be able to do it again and again and again. I tend to
Yeah.
with bigger shows. I think of I like I've got I've got three shows in total. Really, I've got a
Mm.
bubble show, a balloon show, and a kite show. And so I'm thinking of a fourth show at the moment, which is going to be a firework show, with the idea that I want to turn myself into a firework.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah. So
And
so
like
I tend
what? Actually set fire to yourself?
no using lasers.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
so I'm going to building a laser suit covered in lasers, and then sitting on an office chair and spinning around like a Catherine wheel.
Mm.
I think
Of
that could
course.
of course, yeah, it's the obvious
Of
choice,
course.
really.
We've all done it. Yes. When I
Yeah,
wasn't doing the tournaments on the spreadsheet, that's what I was doing, attaching
of course,
fireworks
yeah.
to to an office
If I
chair.
if I have 5 cans of V energy drink, that's what I'm up to.
But what I find interesting is that with imagination and play, I guess like there are sort of no limits. Like you can think of whatever you like, but
Mhm.
and like it all exists in your head, so you can just let it play out however you see fit. And you're only sort of limited by your own imagination. But then with what you do, you also then turn it to stuff on stage that other people can then see. Like it becomes a thing. So do you ever have to reckon with the gap between what is possible in your imagination and then what is actually possible?
I don't know what you mean. Say that again.
I'm not sure I know how to. Like if you like it for example, the image of you on stage in an office chair, trying to be a Catherine wheel with fireworks on it and stuff. That's a really funny image, but maybe in your imagination, you pictured it differently
Oh
initially, but then
yes.
trying to translate that into something that can actually be done on the stage. Do you have to then go like, okay, here's the gulf between what is possible in imagination where there are no limits, and then here's what we can actually do on stage relatively safely.
See, I think that's the fun part is where you do the thing on stage safely, but it requires the audience to activate their imagination to make the thing funnier.
Oh,
So
that is such a
it's
good
like
point. Yes.
if you're triggering an audience to play themselves, then they
Yeah.
remember that childlike feeling again, and then they
Mm.
imagine it to being way more visual and way more ridiculous. Like when we
Yeah.
do the shows with the balloons, we hand out balloons to every audience member at the end of the show, and they throw them around and have a big balloon fight. It's
Yeah.
amazing having these adults just holding a balloon going, "Oh my God, I've got a balloon. This is the greatest day of my life." And they're just so happy because most adults don't really get to play with balloons. It's such a silly thing.
No, more adults should be able to play with balloons. They should give them out with every copy of Microsoft Excel.
Absolutely. Mortal Kombat
Absolutely.
balloon tournament.
Could you imagine if they replaced all the weapons in Mortal Kombat with just a lovely big balloon? That'd be
Aha! That'd be great.
delightful. That'd be
Teddy bear attack.
delightful. Balloontality. That would be lovely. That's really interesting what you said just there about eliciting the field of childhood in other people as well.
Yes.
Because now it's become not just a thing that you do for yourself, but you try and bring that out in others. Is that something that is like consistent throughout all of your work, you'd say?
Yeah, 100%. I very much want to try and remind people what it was like to be a kid again.
Yeah.
Because people forget. I think as you grow up, which is the weird thing where I'm active in being an adult, but at the same time I've not quite mastered it because I've played too much as a child. Whereas a lot of people have grown up too quickly and they've forgotten that games and the simplicity of play.
Well, yeah, because once you're an adult, that's it. You can't
It's gone.
then
Yeah.
you can't then be a child again, but you can try and feel the same way as you did when you were a child.
Yeah.
Have you ever encountered someone like either in the audience or someone that you're doing your act for where like it's just such a challenge for them to try and get into that playful childlike mindset? Is there anyone that is just like super resistant to it?
I get people who say no, which is fine. Like I'm happy with that because it
Yeah.
means that I can move on to somebody else. It's normally if I'm choosing somebody from the audience to come up on stage. So if I select, I do a little point and click, and then they just go, no, don't want to do it, and it's like, okay, fine, another person, and I'll move on very quickly. I tend not to dwell on them because it's that thing of going, if they don't want to be on stage, they're not going to want to play. They're not going to want to get into the game. It's just going to be uncomfortable for everyone.
Very true. Is that like the first rule of playing? Is that everyone has to want to play?
The first rule of Play Club is that everyone must play.
And the second rule is log on to the spreadsheet. It's important. Yes. Yeah. And do you have any? I feel like I've read a lot of books about like different techniques about getting into things like what would you call it, like flow state or unlocking like creative part of your brain. Do you have those kinds of exercises? Is getting into is playing around just something that comes so naturally that like you don't know how not to do it?
I go back to music. I've got music that triggers me to go into different states. Like before going on stage, there's always one piece of music that I'll listen to right before I tend to walk out, and that just helps me sort of calm down and sort of relax, and then realize what I'm about to do. Yeah.
Okay. Has there ever been a time where you have found getting into that playful mindset like really difficult?
When I used to drink.
Oh, right. Okay.
I used to drink quite a bit, and so I would drink a few beers before a show, and then I would not really be in a playful mood because I'd be more excited about finishing the show and going for another drink.
Oh, I see. Okay. Yeah, it's a different kind of play.
It's a whole different world of play.
It's a whole different world of play. Okay.
Yeah.
But
I stopped drinking, which was fantastic, and that helped the play come along a lot farther.
Well, now you're just selling it to us, if anything.
Yeah, the play of booze.
The play of booze. That's actually quite a good name for a show, the play of booze.
The play of booze.
Like a heckler's welcome kind of thing. That might be fun.
I'd be all over it. Yeah.
I'd be all over it. Lovely. Well, I just find it interesting. Yeah, like if people have different techniques of how like they get into it. Like music seems to be a big thing for you. I'm trying to think of like what gets me into the right mindset of being able to like be funny. I think for me it's like questions. Like asking, thinking about something and thinking what are all of the different questions that you could ask in that situation. If like you're given a topic, what are all of the questions that you can ask about it? And you don't worry about like what the answers to the questions are. You just think of the questions first, and then eventually you'll think of enough questions that the answers will just start appearing.
See, I used to have friends who would take their worst ideas and that sort of thing. So they would write out all their ideas, and then they would take their top 10 worst ideas from that list. And the idea being that if they could make their worst ideas funny, then they would be the funniest of the ideas.
Oh, that's such a good point. Yeah.
Because
I
if
had
you
it.
really make them work, it's a surprise for everyone.
Yeah. That's a really good point. I've also heard that what some people will do is when they're thinking of ideas, they'll write down the ideas that come to them first and then put them away and then force themselves to think of stuff that's completely
More
different.
ideas.
And
That's a good
then
shout.
the ones that come to you initially, sometimes they're the best ones, but a lot of the times the magic is in the stuff that comes later. I've also had it. I guess this is an interesting thing, and I don't know if you ever dabbled in this, but like the idea of playing imagination being brought into like the corporate world. They
Okay.
do
Yeah.
they do like a bit of that, especially people who like work in marketing or something, because ultimately what they do is like they have to sell ideas and like creativity and stuff. And in an old job I used to have, we used to do something similar to that where we would um the idea was that you would help like a business or a brand work out the best way to do something or like a come up with like a brand new product or idea or something. And the
Hmm.
way we do it was essentially just sitting down as a group and everyone just has to keep thinking of ideas. But it's like, oh God, we would fill out a spreadsheet. I'm just realizing this now. We would fill out a spreadsheet with like, we had to fill out a spreadsheet with at least 200 ideas and we had a
Good
day to fill
lord.
the spreadsheet. But you have like, it's not just one person, it's like a team of
A
people.
team of
And just
200.
every like minute, you have to get an idea down. And it doesn't matter if it's a terrible idea. So like, if you were thinking of like a new flavor for V energy drink, you would
Hmm.
maybe just go like, okay, lemon, vanilla, cherry, and then you'd get to a certain point, you'd be like, there are no more ideas of like things that would be like normal. So then
Flavors.
you start writing down like really weird stuff, like bird
Yes.
feces, photocopiers, or and then maybe one of those, someone will go like, hang on, that one might actually work, and then before you know it, you're sipping on a lovely photocopier flavored V energy drink.
Sounds fantastic.
Yeah. I don't know if I've sold that as a practice to any business there, but I do find it interesting that, like, I guess, like non-creative people or people who don't strictly do a creative profession getting into play and imagination as well.
Well, sometimes they come up with also some of the best ideas out of
Yes,
nowhere. Like,
exactly. Yeah.
yeah, so you can get a very serious person can drop an out of nowhere, complete left field imagination piece, and you go, "Wow, that's the bit I've
Mm,
been looking for."
yeah. Do you, and doesn't that occasionally like annoy you because you're just like, oh, I spend my life trying to work out how you
Yes.
just did what you just did so easily without thinking about it.
Yeah, I get very frustrated when I see other performers doing magical routines where they do something which I just go, "It's mind-blowingly good," and I get very
Yeah.
frustrated that I have not thought of it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I get like that at a lot of French shows as well. Yeah. Before we just to sort of like wrap up this conversation before we go on to the final segment,
Mhm.
when you are in that state of play, you either with your music on, with your props,
Mhm.
how would you describe how you feel in that moment when you're having a play?
In that moment, I feel like a 9-year-old kid.
Mm,
That's I very much latch on to being 9. So that's that case of going. I remember very much in my own youth being a very happy 9-year-old kid playing games,
mm,
running around, being
right.
silly. So when I start playing properly and I get into that mode, I feel like a kid again.
Okay, it's a 9 specifically.
9 specifically for some reason. I latched onto that
Interesting.
number. Yeah.
Yeah. I guess that just must be the time you felt the most childish.
I think so. That was the most
Yeah.
playful, the most silly. Yeah, the most games.
Lovely. Well, this is, I mean, so we're getting to the end of the pod now, which means that I need to guide you through our final segment. Now, this is, hey, you could call this a game, I suppose. This is what we call quick fire feelings. I've got 5 random things here, and all I'd like you to do is tell me how these things make you feel. And you can say as much or as little as you like. I just want to know how they make you feel. Are you ready to play?
I think so.
Okay. We'll have to take that as consent. Um, how do you feel about dark chocolate?
Oh, really good. Like if you
Really, you
add a
like a
bit
bit of dark
of,
chocolate?
I love a bit of dark chocolate, especially with a bit of sea salt.
Okay, to bring out the flavor.
Bring out the flavour of that. Yeah, the darker the chocolate, the better in my form. Yeah,
Really? What's like the highest percentage you'd go
I
for?
think it's the 90% cocoa.
That's the hard stuff. Wow.
Yeah, it's
You you you, you
but
might
I'm
as well
doing
just
like
eat
4
the
blocks a
bean.
day, mate.
Good point, well made. How do you feel about those coat hangers that you get in hotels that don't actually have the coat hanger head on them? They're just like the little stubby thing.
I remember working with another comic, Sean Hughes, years
Mm.
ago, and he used to steal the coat hangers from hotel rooms
Oh,
because he always thought
really?
hotels charged too much money. So he always
Yes.
liked to get something for free. And I remember sitting at an airport with him where he opened his suitcase and he had like 6 coat hangers and they all had the broken top part, but he got a free thing out of it. And I always thought that was quite interesting to get something for free from a hotel. So coat hangers, I've always associated hotel coat hangers to Sean Hughes.
Fascinating. All right, lovely. How do you feel about the letter L?
L.
L.
A bit bland. L.
Interesting. I
L.
can I ask, are you thinking
L.
of it
L.
right
L.
now,
L. L.
uppercase
L.
or
L.
lowercase?
I've instantly gone uppercase for some reason.
Mm.
To the shape of
Mm.
it. L.
Yeah. Does a
It's a weird.
lowercase L do anything for you?
No, I think more an uppercase L instantly has the. You've got the choice of the letter L or a person's name. L.
Oh,
So it's a
yes,
hard
that's
one.
so
Yeah.
true. Yeah. Well, okay, that's a good point well made
Yeah.
again. How do you feel about fake plants?
I love them with a passion because
Really?
I
Yeah.
live in Las Vegas and everything dies. So
Are
if
there
I need
what?
greenery, I
Yeah.
must have like in my backyard is all fake turf grass. It's
Is
because you
it?
can't have grass back here because
Because
it
it would
just
just
dies in the
die.
sun.
What's
So
native
yeah,
to Las Vegas? Like a cactus or something like a
cactuses, yeah, that
succulent
sort of thing.
or?
Yeah, just any
Oh,
sort of desert plant life.
okay,
But no, a
fair
good
enough.
fake plant, love them. Can't
A
help
good
them.
fake plant where necessary. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Finally, and I actually did come up with this list before the episode, so you might think that this has been
Ooh,
a plant. How do you feel about fireworks?
I do love a good firework.
Yeah.
I quite like watching them from a distance. I don't like people with fireworks. I like watching
Okay.
professionals with fireworks,
Sure.
and then I like watching fireworks that aren't real fireworks. Like I don't mind a good drone show here and there.
Oh, drone shows are quite popular in Vegas, aren't they? I've
Yeah,
never
they're
seen
very
one.
popular. Yeah, they're definitely quite the thing.
And they do them for like demolishing buildings and things
Oh
sometimes.
god, yeah, yeah. When the Tropicana got demolished, they did a big drone thing above that.
Yes, yes, that did look cool. Okay,
Yeah, it
fair
was
enough.
pretty neat.
That does sound good. Well, with that, we come to the end of Quickfire Feelings and the end of the episode. Thank you so much for being with us, Sam. Have you enjoyed it?
I've had a great time.
Good. I'm very glad to hear it.
Yeah.
And before we let you go, is there anything that you would like to plug for our listeners? What are you up to? Where can they find you?
The next big thing on my agenda is the Edinburgh Fringe Festival, where I'm going
Well,
to be
hey,
celebrating 20 years of TapeFace. So I'm going through
wow.
my old material and some newer bits and pieces and
Yeah,
mashing it all together to create one big best of show called TapeFace 20.
lovely. And where will that be on?
That will be on at the Grand at the Pleasance,
Hmm.
and I will be there from July 30th till the 12th at 7:30 p.m.
Gorgeous. Definitely go see that show. And where can they find you on social media?
You can find me at TapeFace Boy on every social media platform.
At TapeFace Boy. Lovely.
Yes.
I will also be at the Edinburgh Fringe with my show You're Joking, Not Another One at Monkey Barrel Comedy at the Tron every day at 1:35. And you can follow the podcast at I've Had a Rosé for clips and extra content. And we will see you again for another episode next week. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.